Welcome back, everybody. So apparently, game number 2 of DeWalt and Napoleon is just the most epic game. I don't know exactly what's on in that game, but they're still in it. So we are going to move on, and in the meantime, we're going to play the first game of the losers match between DragOn and Bakuryu. So we're going to play this game out, and then we'll see if we can finish this series, and then maybe revisit the previous series. So wait, what are we? Hold on, okay, all right. Sorry, I was momentarily distracted, but anyway, so we're going to play the losers match, and then we'll come back, and after their hour-and-a-half long epic game is finished, then we'll revisit them and see if we can show you that game instead. But we don't want to have an 85-minute commercial break, so we're just going to go on with the losers match. This is going to be between DragOn and Bakuryu, and our maps for that series will be, let me make sure I get the correct ones. It's going to be Circuit Breaker for set number 1, and set number 2 is on In the Way, and set number 3 will be on Sylphid. So those are our maps for the losers match. And I guess we can just go ahead and get into the first game once I get into the lobby. Sick. All right, I did it. And I have to use my slow Korean internet to download the replay. But here we are. All right, I'm ready. Yeah, I was gonna say. All right, we're really kicking it into high gear here. Okay, so let's go.
Rapid, you there?
I am. I was watching the stream feed instead of the live feed, so I was a little bit delayed. But you are correct. I think the wait, what? Hold on. Sorry, my screen is black for some. All right, okay, we're back. All right, technical difficulties aside, we'll introduce the player in the bottom right-hand corner. This is our blue Zerg player, Bakuryu.
And in the top right, we got the Canadian Protoss. It's DragOn. So Bakuryu, he looked pretty good in the Sylphid game versus DeWalt. I think he's got a good chance versus DragOn. And what's DragOn's going to pull out for us? He's going for a Forge expand. This is already a different build. Last time we saw him versus Napoleon, he went for Gateway expand.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we'll see if he decides to go for the Forge first or just throw down that early Nexus. I think when DeWalt played early Nexus, it didn't. There was basically no punish. So, wait, was it DeWalt that did that, or was it DragOn in game 1? I think it was DeWalt, right?
Yeah, DeWalt 12 Nexus, no scout, 2-player map. Seems pretty good.
Gonna need to double check. I'll do some fact checking on that, the safety of that build with some of our other players, and see what the results come back as, because that was definitely pretty risky, but it worked out. What a god. Or maybe what a Protoss player, I don't know, but we're not going to see that this time around. Already have the Forge on the way, so it's not like there's going to be anything crazy other than the pylon block, because DragOn's a jerk.
Yeah, that's going to be pretty annoying for Bakuryu. I think when you see an overpool, you can go for the Nexus before the cannon. So DragOn deciding that getting the pylon more important than getting this Nexus up a little bit faster. But he has forced the hatchery out of position. Now he doesn't know where essentially the third hatch is going to be just yet, but it is at a mineral only. It's not going to be split map scenario. This is most likely going to be some type of Hydra play from Bakuryu. Now he's getting a very fast, or the standard timing on the gas. It's looking pretty standard so far. And DragOn, this Nexus is very late.
Yeah, what? I mean, I guess he's being This is as safe as you can be with a Forge Fast expand. And actually keep in mind that this is still called a Forge Fast expand, right? Because back in the day, and I'm sure you can attest to this, Nyokin, the idea that you could do this against Zerg like was still pretty crazy for a while.
Forge Fast expand? Oh yeah, that was unreal. Back a long time ago, you wouldn't even think about expanding versus Zerg. It was suicide because people would just bust with Hydras. But Protoss players have gotten too good at the game. They found the optimizations to make it work. And if they hadn't done that, there would almost be no counterplay to the style we see from Zergs. They just explode in macro. You've got to get an expansion almost to keep up with them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, the expo is on the way, almost completed. But it's going to be finishing by the time we have all 3 hatcheries completed here for Bakuryu. And you know, we saw I don't know what you want to call it, a pseudo 3-hatch Hydra bust. It wasn't like the full-on all-in, because you pull back and drone behind it. But see if we have a similar kind of style here. Just waiting on the probe to be kind of taken out. It dives through the drones unscathed.
Yes, DragOn doing a good job keeping this probe alive. He's juking and jiving. Is able to survive. Now, what is DragOn's follow-up going to be? He's got a full scout off again. Most likely going to be that Stargate play. Is it going to be the Stargate?
I'm waiting.
The Stargate.
Okay, there it is. All right. So cool. Thrown down at the exact same time as the Spire. So it's not like we're going to see any sort of super fast Hydra rush. So I guess we can assuage our fears on that one. But I want to see if he goes for that same +1 style that we've been seeing. Although I guess the most effective Corsairs that we've seen are just the ones that come out super fast, and maybe they can hit before Scourge or Hydras or whatever there are to defend against them. But that's not what we're going to have this time. Just going to be going for a single Stargate.
Yeah, I think that the Stargate got delayed because of that pylon block. So this time the Sair is not going to be out before Scourge. So if DragOn tries to get a scout off, there's a real threat that it could potentially die. The Spire's about 66% done. Scourge build faster than a Sair. Well, now that I'm seeing this unfold, the Sair may be able to go in just once. It's definitely not going to get an Overlord, I don't think. That would be pretty risky because this Sair seems about 10-15 seconds slower than normal. But what's Bakuryu's follow-up going to be? We saw in the first game he went for very fast Hive. He's setting up for 5-hatch Hydra play. That doesn't necessarily mean that he's not going to go for Hive. But the one game we did see him go for that, it was on Benzene where he had that fast third gas. So I guess it's a little bit more unlikely. Yeah, and there goes DragOn with that Sair.
Yep. A little bit unlikely, but okay, let's see what he gets as far as scouting information. Flies over and sees the Hydra and hatch in front, and so basically just going to see that this is in fact going to be a 5-hatch style. And ooh, wait, was he on top of the Scourge? What?
Yeah, that egg just morphed out and Scourge almost popped on top of that Sair. That was so close. For
the
DragOn,
luckiest Corsair pilot. Okay, well, the Scourge are going to get into the main and kind of do revenge scouting. Let's see if they can get this Corsair before they are sort of ushered away. They could actually just sit on top of the Stargate, but I guess he does not want to lose them.
Yeah, so how many Sairs is he going to build? We're up to 3 now. We've got +1. I think the break point is 5 when you got +1. But this Scourge is trying to find any Sair it can potentially pick off. DragOn's, again, is going for that 7:30 timing. We've got 6 Zealots out. He's going to be building the 7th. And speed is about to kick in, so I'm surprised he's not out on the map just yet. Even building a second cannon, I guess because his Sair got denied the scouting, he is a little bit wary of potential Hydra play. Ooh, DragOn going around here. I don't think the Zerglink or the Scourge have seen it just yet. And if we look at Bakuryu's base, well, he's got a decent Hydra count, so he may be able to hold it off, but there are no Sunkens at either natural or third base.
Yeah, not going with a static defense, just relying on having Hydras back home and pretty decent SimCity. I don't know. Let's see how well these Zealots are able to do. He's got, what is it, 6 of them? Yeah, 6 Zealots, but yeah, way too many Hydras back home to defend.
Yeah, so Bakuryu is going to be putting on the pressure pretty soon. He's got speed already done. Range is halfway done. Look at DragOn. He's feeling the pressure, putting up 5 cannons. There's no Templars out.
Yeah, Storm is only halfway done at this point, not even. So even if he does come out with these high Templar, I mean, what are you going to do? Like, they can't actually Storm Pro, so he has to delay this Hydra push. But it's already there. These cannons are just barely starting to morph in. Can he get them killed in time? One goes down. The rest are maybe going to just die as they warp in, but the Zealots coming through to get on top of the Hydras. Perfect play here, pressuring the Hydras, keeping them from being able to focus down those cannons.
Yeah, this looked great for Bakuryu, but DragOn just barely holding on. But there's so many... Oh, there's not reinforcements coming from Bakuryu. Missed the macro cycle there. He's just now morphing the eggs. But DragOn looked really under threat there. There's only 2 Oh, a huge storm. And now all these overlords are going to die. That's going to supply Bakuryu pretty badly. Oh, it hurts, Rapid. It hurts.
Oh, no. He'll never be able to build another unit again, Nyoken.
Oh, my gosh. I mean, DragOn has
no
units, he has only cannons. And if he didn't get supply blocked, that would be a lot of Hydras coming in.
Yeah, he actually did get off a huge production round of Hydras right before he lost all the Overlords. So even in losing those, the Hydra count is still very high. Bakuryu losing even more of these Corsairs. Going to town, picking off another one. Gonna get taken out. He's still at 50 out of 37.
I'm getting flashbacks to the Babo game where we're just permanent supply blocked. And this opportunity that Bakuryu has to attack is just going down the drain. It's letting DragOn get back into it. And you can't let a player like DragOn get back into it. He's got 6 gate now. He's got his robotics. He's got so many Templars built up. But Bakuryu's trying to transition out of it. He's taking his 4th base. He's got a 6th hatch and 7th hatch coming up. He's got his evolution chambers going. No hive tech. This is just going to be pure Hydra play.
I hope he swoops back through these double bridges and finds these 3 overlords. That would just be total tragedy. He's hunting. He's looking. But I don't think he's going to find any more.
Yeah, and DragOn just going for that standard 8-gate follow-up. Robotics is done. We've got the cybernetics almost done with range. We're going to see a huge Dragoon flood come out. And this time DragOn has a sizable supply lead compared to the game versus Napoleon. Napoleon always within about 10 supply. DragOn up 30 supply, so his attacks can be really strong. Bakuryu knows the threat of the incoming push. He's getting lurkers up. He's going to try and stall it out with a bunch of sunken lurker spores everywhere. But I don't know. This is going to be difficult for Bakuryu. His name, I can't pronounce it. It's going to be so hard for him to defend after spending so many resources on these overlords.
Yeah, pretend it's Japanese, and he's a dumb version of Ken's brother. Bakuryu. Close enough.
Bakuryu, okay.
Yeah, there you go. Alternatively, you could just pretend like he's from the capital of Azerbaijan, which is Bakuryu. But I'm not sure if he's like paying homage to that or not. He's actually from Germany, right? So probably none of those things.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, I doubt it. But God, DragOn, he's just exploded in supply at this point. 130 to 80 now. We're seeing the real effects of those supply blocks really hurting Bakuryu really hard. And, that's a lot of lurkers. But unfortunately, he has shown his hand. If all those lurkers were a little bit to the left and the Dragoons came streaming down, that could be a big pickoff. But now, DragOn knows where they all are. And all of these Templars have almost full energy, so they can
oh my goodness.
Put a whooping on these lurkers.
Yes, well said. What is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, almost 10 storms. Okay, all right, we get it. You're gonna be good. Losing a couple of Corsairs there as they fly over. We'll actually get a scout off on this Zerg army, and all of a sudden you're gonna need all of those storms to protect this 3rd base. Really kind of pivotal moment here. I almost wish DragOn would kind of just stay back and defend this third base, but you can't let the Zerg just power on 4 bases for free. Yeah,
and DragOn's coming in now. He's got Sayers in combination with his army, so if He kills a bunch of overlords while this is all going on. Bakuryu will not be able to reinforce. So many lurkers and hydras. A big storm. I think they're just flat out too many dragoons. There's almost no zealots, but doesn't matter. Dragoon Templar, so cost efficient.
Especially against lurkers, and when you can just land all of your storms. Trying to get back and pick off some of these Templar, and he actually does kind of whittle the Templar count down to, I think, 1? Okay, I mean, not going to be any storms for the rest of his push coming up until he regens a little bit of that energy. This Dragoon count is just so high.
Yeah, I don't think any Dragoons even died there. They're just being so deadly. But the reinforcements from Bakuryu is so strong. Remember, he's on 7 hatch, trying to push this back. But Dragon has 8 gate, another big storm, wiping so many hydras. It's just snowballing a little bit too hard at this point. Supplies are doubled. Dragon taking 4th bases behind. He's playing this perfectly. I think he's busted him.
Yeah, and Dragon has 3 Dragoons stopping the Hydra reinforcements from across the bridges, and yeah, GG, that's gonna do it. Bakuryu taps out, and Dragon takes game number 1.
Yeah, so that was just great crisis control from Dragon, responding exactly how you should respond to a Hydra bust like that. He didn't get... what's the word? He didn't get frantic. He did exactly what you're supposed to do. It was also nice that those zealots came in from the back instead of funneling in from the natural. It allowed them to get on top of those hydras. That was a really critical moment right there. But Bakuryu played pretty well. I thought he did pretty, other than the supply block, it was going pretty well for him.
Right. I think that was really kind of the turning point. It's like, well, you were trying to go for this big concentrated, aggression, and you actually just can't build units. So he pulled all the hydras back. He's trying to just like do anything to keep any overlords alive, and finally he stabilizes. But at that point, the pressure's off. So plenty of time to get up that massive number of high Templar. And man, those Dragoons at the end, I usually associate Dragoons as more support units, but they really kind of did their job super well. So wow, that's do it for game number 1. Game number 2 is coming up in theory. Let's see if that game is done, just so that we have something to show here. I think we might be getting the replays for the previous series, but let's finish one thing at a time. This is starting to look like my task efficiency, where I start something and I'm just like, but there's something shiny over there. I'll just do that series too, and then this other one. But I think game number 2 should be coming up on In the Way of Infinity, if I'm not mistaken. I think.
Yeah, I think we're going to continue this series.
But we're never sure. Let's find out. Okay, all right, here we go. This is going to be a game on Sylphid. I thought Sylphid was the last map in the series. Maybe I'm just dumb. How late is it? Okay, it's almost 6 a.m. here. Okay, all right. So it is going to be on Sylphid as our second game. I was a little bit mistaken there. So, all right, game number 2. It's coming up. Dragon versus Bakuryu, with Dragon up 1-0. Start game number 2. All right, and here we are in game number 2. Our brown Zerg player on the left-hand side of your screen. This is Bakuryu.
And in the bottom right, he's 1 game away from going into the final match versus Napoleon. It's Dragon. So Bakuryu, last time on this map, he looked really strong versus DeWalt. So I do think he's got a good chance taking out Dragon. The macro was just crazy, and he had good macro last game too. Just unfortunately, the supply block's a little bit too strong to come back from.
Honestly, I think if that supply block hadn't happened, you really would have seen just a crazy number of Hydras hit and not allow Dragon to get up those just High Templar that never had to use their storms because there just weren't that many Hydras coming across. So maybe we'll get a chance to see that different world this time around. But honestly, I don't expect to see anything different from either player. I think that Dragon is still going to go for that Forge Fast expand, and on the other hand, Bakuryu is not going to feel comfortable hitting an earlier timing than just 5-hatch Hydra.
Yep, so we've got an overpool coming out from Bakuryu. We've got Forge expand from Dragon. Again, Dragon with the first scout.
I don't know how this guy did it.
Yeah, there's something in the water with these Protoss players always scouting first every single game. And he sees exactly what's going on.
Protoss units don't even have mouths, though, so they can't drink the water even if there were something in it. I mean, I guess there's plenty of water on the map, though, so maybe...
Well, also, they're robots, right? So that would just make them... That would end their life, right?
Yeah.
The electricity would end them, so...
Maybe there's something in the water that doesn't, and I don't know. The metaphor, I say owe the humanity when probes and drones die, and those aren't human either. So we're just going to allow ourselves some metaphorical liberty when it comes to our expressions to keep things interesting. So the first scout does see exactly what the build is, and it's going to get out here and see the natural expansion and everything else. Yeah, and with the third hatch going down pretty soon. Oh, okay, never mind. It's not actually that soon. This is still going to be no alarm bells going off in Dragon's head, so he should feel pretty safe with this expo.
Yeah, everything standard from Bakuryu. I have to say again, Dragon has gone for a 15 Nexus. I know from a lot of VODs that 13 Nexus is pretty standard, but it seems like Dragon must have found some sort of optimization with this 15 Nexus because he's done it again. Bakuryu has the pretty fast gas. He's going 3 hatch. He's taking it at a base with the gas. I think almost all the bases on Sylphid have a gas. So now, I guess this is similar to the first game of Sylphid versus DeWalt, but if we remember the Circuit Breaker game, Bakuryu did go for that fast hive when he had access to the third gas, so we'll have to make sure to look out for that.
Yeah, that fast hive style is a lot like some of the more innovative Zerg styles you were seeing pulled out yesterday. I'm just like, I really want to kind of explore that a little bit more, because I think a lot of times Protoss players are so worried about getting their third base up that they sort of take the pressure off. They're just like, okay, I just have to make this happen. But other times, depending on the player, they'll say, okay, well, I got to take a third base, so let me put on a ton of pressure right now and expand behind it. And obviously, if that's happening while you're trying to tech to hive, you're going to be in a little bit of trouble.
Yeah, if you power a little bit too much, Protoss can definitely just go and kill you. You know how strong that 8-gate timing is. And Dragon has been doing it consistently every single game we've seen. We saw him try to take a third base on Eddie pretty quickly, and Napoleon punishing it pretty easily. And there is that fast Stargate for Dragon again. This time it's considerably faster than last game, so it's likely he's going to get an Overlord kill. And Bakuryu, just standard. Again, Spires going down, looking to be a 5-hatch or 6-hatch Hydra play, just like the first Sylphid game we saw.
Yeah, I actually, so I'm a little bit less familiar with the 6-hatch variety, because I always just assumed that 5 was the number that you were supposed to get. I think Faceless Narcosis kind of made a good point about the way that 6 hatches played now, and it's just like, well, if you do feel like you can just pump out an insane amount of Hydras and that's what you need, then go for it. But a lot of times just having more Hydras just means more of them die to storms, so sometimes it's not necessarily worth that. And yeah, I don't understand the subtle nuances there, so maybe we can trust our Twitch chat GMs to educate us on that one a little bit. But yeah, he is just going to go for like massive macro.
Yep, and we got the Citadel almost done for Dragon. It seems pretty fast. Maybe actually it's about normal. I was going to say, are we going to see some fast Templar play? But nope, it is going to be, again, the 7:30 timing. He's been doing almost every single game we've seen. And Bakuryu has just been so solid at this point in the game that I don't think Dragon's necessarily going to get any damage done. And there's the 4th and 5th hatch going down for Bakuryu. There's the Hydrogen Evolution Chamber. So yeah, it is just going to be 5 hatch Hydra play with +1.
Yep, all the +1s kind of aligned to time out at the same time, or to coincide at the same time. See, how many zealots do we have? I've seen some pretty surprisingly high zealot counts in all of our games today, but it looks like we are pumping them out one at a time, 5 here so far. The lings for the softs contain, just to make sure that there's enough information for Bakuryu when this push actually does come.
Yeah, it's important to know when the zealots move, because if they come out with a surprisingly fast push, you know, Bakuryu's planning for the 7:30 timing. If Dragon was at his door right now, we've got 2 Hydras. So it's imperative that we see what's coming. We know that it's a 7:30 timing. Bakuryu doesn't know that just yet, but I do know that he is prepping for it. We have the first Hydras coming out. Still no static D. This makes me think that he's going to be looking to put the pressure back on as soon as these zealots get across the map, just like in the Circuit Breaker game. But Dragon preemptively putting down a second cannon.
Yeah, if he put down any more, then that would be a little bit telling that he would just want to, or that he was worried about some sort of counterattack. But as is, now he's going to be sending 7 zealots across the map. This is speed and +1, so Manlot's now running into, I guess, what is going to be the 3rd base. And yeah, you're right, there is actually no static defense.
Yeah, but these lings will buffer a lot of the damage coming from the zealots. The Hydras will be able to shell down onto the zealots from the high ground. So now these zealots literally just moved out, and they're just going to turn around, probably. Yeah, there they go. Hydras even intercepting to get any sort of damage. That's a nice pick.
I love the little body block there, getting a bunch of damage off on one of those zealots. But seeing the Hydra push out across the map actually kind of maybe even preemptively triggers Dragon to throw down 3 extra cannons, and now he's on 5 cannons. The Hydras aren't even attacking yet, but I guess they will eventually, and when they do, they will be met with a little bit of a rude awakening. But oh, I love it. He doesn't even finish going across the map. He pulls back, hits that D button, and goes max upgrades with 2 more evolution chambers on the way.
Yeah, and look at his 3rd base. There's that Queen's Nest. We've got a 6 hatch going up. So Bakuryu realizes that he showed Dragon a lot of pressure, and now he's going to back off. He's just going to power extremely hard. He knows that Dragon potentially wasted a lot of minerals on building cannons for an attack that's never going to come. Oh, Bakuryu, don't lose these overlords. So now, like we saw in the Benzene game where he wanted to go for that hive, maybe now this little delay that Dragon's going to have on his push, maybe that's all Bakuryu really needs to get that hive tech to kick in.
Yeah, you were talking about the 8-gate timing. It's super potent, but you can't build gateways if you build cannons instead. So all those cannons essentially really delaying this big gateway explosion in Dragon's main, and really stifling, you're right, that next push that would have been coming out.
You know, Dragon, again, he has a bunch of Templars. He's got 4 already. He's going to bank up that energy. He's starting to build Dragoons. He's going to be looking to push across the map. It's only 6-gate this time, not 8. It's going to be a little bit weaker than last time, but I do think that Bakuryu, he's just going to have Hive Tech by then. Hive is halfway done. Those +1 upgrades on the extra 2 evolution chambers are almost halfway done also. And, okay, the Sares finally have identified that the Hive is coming in. So Dragon knows that he's on a timer. He needs to get across the map pretty fast if he's going to make this attack work. Because once Adrenaline kicks in, once +1 kicks in, it's going to be a nightmare trying to deal with Mass Ling, Mass Hydra.
Oh yeah, that Adrenaline is just like every Protoss's worst nightmare. You see the Overlord just speed into your main, drop the Defiler, all the cracklings, and all your buildings die. Like, wow, sick. Wow. So until that time, there is a little bit of a window here for Dragon. He's going to be exploring with these Lewis Clark and the guys down there to the unexplored bottom left. Fortunately, there's no hatchery there. Otherwise, it would have died pretty instantly. And we're starting to see Dragon pick off a few Overlords here and there. So he's starting to get back on that supply block game.
Yes, supply block so critical at this point. This is going to be really Dragon's best opportunity if he wants to do a killing blow. There's not many lurkers out there. I think there's just one, really. There are a decent amount of Hydras, but those Templars have so much energy. Wow, this is a far base for Dragon to be taking. I'm shocked that he took this one. It's going to make counterattacks so deadly if Bakuryu hooks around to the right side. Oh the Sears!
That is bad. Bad. Wow. And now what's going to happen to this Protoss army? It's the only thing kind of defending this hidden base? Is that what we're calling it? That's certainly a strange one to take.
Well, if Dragon wants to go, he's got to go now because Adrenaline's about 80% done. 1-1 just kicked in. We cannot be fighting Adrenaline Lings. Look at Adrenaline at 11:30 or 11:45. That's crazy. If he can get the Zealots onto the Hydras and then the Lings onto the Dragoons, those Dragoons will die so fast. Oh, a massive flank. Look how... Oh, he's going to hit from all directions. Dragon, you got to turn around.
Oh, my goodness. Yeah, here we go. The might of the swarm cascading down onto Dragon's small isolated army. The storms are good, but there's just so much. How is Dragon going to hang on? The cracklings now very ahead of schedule. Dragon just melting everywhere.
Supplies plummeting, and we don't know if Bakuryu knows about bottom left, but he probably can suspect something if all your units are over there. And he's going to take it out immediately. And that was with a full probe transfer, so not only is he going to get this Nexus, potentially also going to get these probes too. Dragon desperately trying to get cannons up, but I don't think he has enough production. Remember, Bakuryu's on like 8 hatch at this point with Hive Tech?
Wow, yeah, you're right. 8 hatcheries and spamming out Hydras and cracklings and really just everything that trades super well against that army that Dragon has. He also had his High Templar count reset, which is huge because that's one of the biggest ways that Protoss gain value over time by saving the High Templar and getting storm after storm after storm and trading that out for large numbers of Hydras. So, wow, I'm actually really surprised that that, what do you want to call that, 7 o'clock base actually survived, but I don't know how much longer that's going to last. Consume just now finished.
Yeah, also Plague being upgraded, and Plague is going to be so deadly at this point in the game. It's not the point in the game where Protoss has, 5, 10 Archons. There's probably going to be no Archons. It's just going to be Zealot, Dragoon, Templar. And if we get a Plague off onto an army, it's going to be dealing catastrophic damage. But Bakuryu doesn't even need to wait for Plague. He's going in for the kill right now. Hydra Link's just decimating everything.
Oh my god. All right, well... Yep, that's, okay, well, he actually does need a Defiler to do a thing this game, so eventually those things will come out. But I think when they do, certainly like Plague, Dark Swarm, I think those are going to really kind of spell the death knell here for Dragon in Game 2.
Yeah, and Bakuryu relentless here, even building Lurkers, so if there was any hope of Dragon trying to plow through Hydraling Lurker, he's not gonna allow it. He's just gonna set up a massive contain, and that's gonna isolate his third base. There's no Templar here, it's just mass cannons, and once Dark Swarm goes down, there's gonna be absolutely no counter to that. Oh, this is so devastating for Dragon. 10 Lurkers set up at your entrance, and you have a Nexus essentially on the other side of the map.
Yeah, that's gonna be rough. GG. Oh wow, he sees the contain and just can't break out. That's a little bit of anticlimactic GG timing there, but I don't blame him. Dragon just in such a rough spot, and Bakuryu takes game number 2.
Yeah, Bakuryu definitely knows how to play Sylphid because he had a good game versus DeWalt. Now he had a dominating game against Dragon. So he's playing very well. What is our last map? It is Circuit Breaker.
Yeah, okay, so I sort of misread the map order there, but yeah, our last map is going to be Circuit Breaker, kind of a standard map to we
just had that was the first game. Eddie's going to be the last map.
I'm so confused here. Oh my god. All right, why are we doing this to me at 6 a.m.? I'm like, there's no justice. So it's going to be Eddie for our final map in this losers best of 3. One of these players will be eliminated from BSL Season 6, and in order to find out which player, I need to join the lobby. I'm trying. Okay, here we go. I'm joining. We're in. Oh, it is on. Excuse me. It is on in the way of an eddy. I'm just dying over here. Yeah. And after this, we'll resume the exciting conclusion to the previous series of DeWalt versus Napoleon. So don't forget about that game. It still happened. We're just gonna catch up with that series in a little bit after we finish this one on In the Way of an Eddy. So let's get into game number 3 and find out which one of our players will be the first player to be eliminated in the BSL Season 6. All right, here we are loading on to In the Way of an Eddy in the upper right-hand corner in the orange as Protoss. This is DragOn.
And in the top left, it is Bakuryu. I have to point out that both times DragOn has faced this hive play, first time versus Napoleon on Eddy, Napoleon took it, and now he's faced it again versus Bakuryu on Sylphid, and he's lost to it. It seems like this could be DragOn's kryptonite. He just has no counter so far to it. And if I'm Bakuryu, I think I would go for it again. It worked out so well for him on Sylphid. Yeah, that would be my go-to build.
So let's see. I'm trying to think to myself, what was the real key to victory for Bakuryu in that previous game? He still lost a bunch of overlords, but I think the adrenaline timing just like hit so fast. The DragOn was out there and he's like, okay, well, there's no way I'm gonna get surrounded by cracklings and die right now, right? Wrong.
Yeah, I think the 150-2-0 timing hits around like 11:30, and if we were to watch the replay, Bakuryu hit adrenaline at around 12 minutes. So if really all he needs to do is delay the attack for 15-30 seconds, then all of his upgrades kick in, and it's just going to be a completely different fight than what Protoss is used to. So it's a really nice timing. I'm loving it so far. We've seen DeWalt deal with it, but I can't remember how did DeWalt deal with it. I think he just kind of got too far ahead with the Sares and the DT, right? Maybe that's what DragOn needs to go for instead of this 7:30 timing, because it's not working for him.
Yeah, no, you definitely have to deal with that. Well, okay, you figured it out. It's not working. So, how are you gonna fix that? Looks like we are gonna have the forge and cannon before Nexus. So this is about the safest way that you can expand with still having this forge fast expand for DragOn. But he's gonna need to mine a little bit more before we have that down. And in the meantime, we're just now hitting a third hatchery being placed here before the Nexus.
Yeah, that seems pretty fast. Again, DragOn with the 15 Nexus. He's loving this variation that he's come up with. And what will be the follow-up for Bakuryu? Again, we have the 230 extractor, everything standard so far. That third hatch that we were expecting to go down pretty quickly has not gone down yet, but I think that was a little bit too fast for the third hatch. But regardless, this probe is still alive, still getting off a good scout.
Yeah. If you can keep your probe alive for like 5 minutes, I think it is, then that's incredible. Bisu would do this like almost every game, and it was so infuriating because you just have to delay your tipping your hand as a Zerg player for so long. Nowadays, I guess with him in the army, I see probes die much earlier, like 3 minutes 45 seconds, something like that. And it's like, okay, well, that doesn't do it for me. But we'll see how long Bakuryu can try to take this out. Honestly, it's really confusing to watch orange versus yellow, so I'm just gonna miscall these players all the time.
Well, Bakuryu got that probe, and to be honest, the lair is so early that he could go for a cancel, Sulky-esque, and go for a bust. So this was kind of a bad timing to lose that probe. DragOn has not sent out a second probe just yet, so he is gonna continue to be in the dark. But Zerg has decided to not go for any type of shenanigans. He's just going to continue to play normal. I think Spire's going to be going down pretty soon. And again, what's DragOn going to go for? Looks like the 7:30 timing again. I expect to see the Stargate pretty soon.
And no, okay, well, we're not seeing it yet, but you're right. Anytime now, we are going to see that Stargate. I'm expecting +1 plus. Whoa, DT rush. Okay, or I guess. Well, I'm just really surprised to not see that that Stargate. So, deviance for the or deviation. There we go. Ugh. For the first time out of really all of these Protoss builds, they've been kind of remarkably consistent up until this point. But wow, Citadel almost completed by 5 minutes.
Yeah, and I don't think Bakuryu saw it. He just turned his Overlord preemptively. Now, he does see the second gate. Now, that might be a little bit weird to see a second gate this fast. Also, there's no gas at the natural until just now. And now, I guess he does suspect something's up because he's turning the Overlord around. That's a smart move because this is... Wow, it's speed. I'm shocked that this is speed and not a fast Templar Archive. But I guess it kind of makes sense because the +1 upgrade is pretty fast. It's about halfway done. It's going to be another, maybe like 7:15 timing compared to 7:30. But regardless, Bakuryu is confirming that it is Citadel first with no Stargate.
That's huge to confirm. If you can make sure that there's no Stargate, then all of a sudden, like you just, this huge weight lifts off your shoulders because your Overlord's not going to die. You can keep getting this fantastic information. And when he scouts no Stargate, he starts mutas.
Yeah, and this is going to be great for him because everybody knows Zealot don't hit air. And unfortunately for DragOn this time, I've seen him put a cannon in his main and at his natural every single time. But this time, oh, he just started the cannon, so the timing's great for him. Hopefully it can get up. But the mutas are about to pop. This may just be a little bit too slow.
I think you are exactly correct.
Is it only one muta?
No, I think it's 2.
What?
Yeah. Okay, this is the 2.
Oh,
okay,
there they are.
It's actually 5. All right. I didn't see them patching from the other hatchery. So it's 5 mutas total, and yes, in fact, they will be able to attack these Zealots with impunity. I mean, Zealots do take 1,000,000 years for mutas to kill, and I actually really like the split there from DragOn to say, well, okay, maybe you'll kill a couple of these, but at least you tipped your hand on your muta timing, and now, theoretically, DragOn, does save the Zealots, but how much damage is he going to take from this?
Yeah, I think this is a win for Bakuryu, though, because he's damaged all the Zealots. There's 2 cannons in the main. There's 2 cannons at the natural. The gates are a little bit delayed. Well, they're not delayed because there's a Stargate, but regardless, now he's got to make an Archon instead of Storm. Mutas are going to deny this gateway even. Oh, mutas.
Ooh, and Archon just so scary. Well, I mean, that's kind of interesting to see the muta timing hit like that. Not, I guess, really a lot. What's on the other side to defend? I guess he had to go into Archons, which means that, any sort of storm timing is going to be a lot less effective. So if you do hit with Hydras after this, you know that you're going to be doing that into a Protoss player that doesn't have the storm he needs to defend against it.
Yeah, so we have no storm. It's 5 gate. Bakuryu knows it's coming. He needs to get static D, though, because this is going to be a much stronger push than DragOn has been using in all the other games. So it's mandatory that it has Sunkens in this scenario. He's got one at his third base. That's very nice. He's got one at his natural, too, so he's already ready for it. So DragOn, I don't think this attack is going to work. It's like 6 Zealots and 2 Archons. The Archons are pretty strong, but the Sim City is great from Bakuryu. He's got more Hydras being morphed. I don't think this is going to do much.
Yeah, I concur, Nyokin, especially since Hydras are so good against Archons. If they can't get through the Sim City, and yeah, there's no way they're getting back there. Archons are a little thick, so it's hard for them to really close the gap against Hydras that are that entrenched. So yeah, no, I totally agree. DragOn probably needs to get out of here.
Yeah, I mean, he's trying to get some damage done, but in the end, he's going to have to turn around. Now, the good thing for him is his army is very strong. Instead of going for 8 gate this time before expanding, he may be able to get away with just 5 gate. But he has not sent a probe over there yet, but he is building up those Templars. They are starting to build energy. I don't think Bakuryu will be able to put on some pressure just yet. He'll probably need to go through a couple more Hydra cycles, but as I say that, he's got a lot of Hydras at his naturals and his third base. So if DragOn does get greedy taking a third, he could get it canceled just like in the Napoleon game.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you know, I wouldn't say getting the third is getting greedy, but like trying to put pressure on while your third is just like fledgling and watching Zerglings run in and get the cancel. I'm like, ooh, gotta protect that one a little bit more. So, I mean, how many Zealots is this? This is just like, does that make 2.5 control groups of Zealots? That's just quite a few. But there's still nothing to deal with. Wait, does he even have observers?
Oh my, this is so many. This is like 21 Zealots and 2 Archons. I don't think there's enough Hydras. This is like 30 Hydras, which is good, but this is so many Zealots. Oh, Bakuryu cannot fight from that angle. He's DragOn backed off. That's a little bit surprising to me because he would have had the high ground advantage. But one thing we got to point out is that these mutas are like, okay, there's Dragoons. I was going to say the mutas could potentially pick off Templars, so the DragOn's got to be very careful. But wow, DragOn's army is so scary at this point. Also, +2 just kicked in. Do we have any lurkers? I don't think we have any lurkers, and I don't think Hydras will be able to fend off this attack.
No, you're completely right, especially now that there's Storm. It's like, well, maybe if there wasn't Storm and if there were half the number of Zealots, you know, aka like, you know, 2-3 minutes ago. But now, I think things have progressed beyond the era of, you know, +1 range Hydras. This is going to be difficult, especially with these mutas diving in and taking out the High Templar before the Hydras even hit. That might be the saving grace.
Yeah, well, 1 Templar for 1 muta, that's a good trade for Bakuryu, but he did take a lot of damage on all the mutas, so he will not be able to get any more snipes. And supplies are getting a little bit crazy for DragOn at this point. We're up almost 40 supply, still looking for lurkers. I don't see any. A big round of Overlords coming in for Bakuryu, so if DragOn was to go now, it would be a really nice timing. I think he's gonna go now, and this is like Gladiator, so Bakuryu might have the better armory, but if he fights at a bad angle like this, he could potentially lose it.
Ooh, yeah, I gotta be really, really careful. All the mutas died, so no more risk of losing your High Templar when you try to push across the map. But look at this, he's actually sniping the High Templar with the Hydras, but takes massive Storm damage in return.
Yeah, and here comes DragOn. There's so many Zealots, but Bakuryu has the high ground, but there's a huge Storm on so many Hydras. The supplies are plummeting for Bakuryu, right? Another massive one. I think DragOn's just going to push through here.
Yeah, is this Bakuryu or Goranich? Just zero dodge on those Storms. Just incredible damage. And yeah, his Hydras just evaporate totally. Wow. Definitely don't want to funnel Hydras into this army after that for sure. So time to pull back, time to kind of hunker down and see if you can hold on against this push. So good, that fight for DragOn, and he can just keep pushing across the map.
Yeah, I think this is going to be the end of Bakuryu. Supplies getting doubled. DragOn with a third base. He's got a probe at bottom right for a fourth base. So even if he doesn't win here, he's setting up for that long game. He's definitely... But there's just no way that Bakuryu can stop this army. There's more Zealots coming in. Dragoon count has not been dwindled down at all. Another big Storm. This has got to be the end of Bakuryu.
Oh, man. I mean, Bakuryu just fought so valiantly to come back into the series. And I'm just like, well, was all that just for this? I mean, the game is not over, but DragOn's doubling up his supply. I mean, I'm trying to think of the ways that maybe Baku could come back, but I mean, what?
Yeah, there's just really no hope at this point. If he had mass lurkers and maybe DragOn suicide, well, not suicide, but attacked and we got all his observer sniped, maybe. Or if Bakuryu had Hive Tech with upgrades going, he could potentially get a really cost-efficient fight. but he doesn't have anything like that. He's still on Lair. He's going to lose one of his productions. This Templar's trying to get in the storm.
Well, not meant to be. The storm kills like 3 Hydras, but in the end, the bigger story is that let's watch these Hydras kind of trying to flank in from the back. They are met immediately with Zealots. Oh man, DragOn crushing it at this point. He still has quite a few storms. Let's see, 1, almost 2. Yeah, and then a bunch more High Templar behind that. So get ready, it's coming. DragOn heading into the natural.
Yeah, and the ball is just massive, and you're all clumped up together. That means Storm is just going to hit everything.
It sure is. Oh my god, it's so terrible. Oh, nothing can stand up to this. Zealot's just wreaking havoc over this base, and yeah, nothing stands in the way.
Yeah, so unfortunately, Bakuryu's gonna be eliminated. I thought he played pretty well today. The Hive build, pretty interesting, but DragOn a little bit too strong. I like how DragOn changed up his build this time. Did not go for that standard play. It really looked like Bakuryu was just too solid versus it.
Well, that's gonna do it. I guess we have a little bit of a delayed G timing here, but crushing through the natural and now into the main. Yeah, there's just nothing to stop that. He gets his secret cannon base down here scouted out, and as soon as that's gone, then yeah, that's gonna do it. GG. Baku types out, and DragOn advances. Bakuryu is unfortunately eliminated from BSL Season 6.
Yeah. But it was a good showing from Bakuryu. I think he played, like I said, I think he played pretty well. I don't really look at a game and say, oh, well, I played poorly, that's why I lost. It seemed pretty well done from Bakuryu. But unfortunately, he's just playing up against beasts in DeWalt and DragOn, and it's always hard to beat players of that caliber.
Yeah. Well, that's going to do it for our losers match. We're going to take a brief break, and then we'll come back with the winners, with the exciting conclusion of the winners match coming up. So don't want to go anywhere. DeWalt versus Napoleon. Game 2 is coming up. DeWalt up 1-0 in that series.